What if you have been treating your thyroid with medicine, you're working on balancing your hormones, taking the right supplements, and you still feel stuck? You're tired, you're bloated, you're gaining weight, you can't sleep. What if it's not your thyroid or just your hormones, but it's both and it's a combination and you're trying to fix them in the wrong order? There is a specific order in which you need to fix these things. So if you have both things, this video is for you. You are going to learn today in this video how your stress system affects both of your thyroid and your female hormones. Then I'm going to show you why treating everything at the same time doesn't work. There is a cascade in which you need to treat these things. You cannot treat everything at the same time. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And then I'm going to give you 6 steps to follow if you want to finally feel better, even if your lab says you're normal. Plus, here in the description is a link for an assessment to kind of figure out if you have thyroid plus hormone issues or if it's just thyroid or just hormones. My client, Leanna, was 44 and she was doing everything right. She had thyroid issues, but she was on thyroid meds. She was taking them for estrogen support. She was eating clean. She was lifting weight. She was exhausted all the time, still inflamed, still gaining weight, and she couldn't understand what was wrong if she was doing everything and addressing everything. Well, we ran a Dutch panel with a comprehensive thyroid panel, and what did we find? Her cortisol was flat, reason why she was exhausted all the time. Her progesterone, it was very low, and thyroid-wise, her TSH levels were normal, but her reverse T3 was super high. And like I explained on the first video of this mini-series, the reverse T3 blocks the effects of T3, which is the hormone that really regulates everything that you know as thyroid regulation. So your hair, your nails, your metabolism, if you feel cold or not, all that is done by T3. If your reverse T3 is high, it blocks all the thyroid function. And this is what she had. So she had low progesterone, high cortisol, and high reverse T3 that was blocking her thyroid. A horrible picture. Well, what did we do? We didn't work on supplements for all of this at the same time. No, because that would have not worked, which is kind of what she was doing. We work first on rebuilding her stress system. That's the first one you need to work on. Then balance the hormones and then adjust thyroid support. Between 8 to 12 weeks, she was feeling like herself again and lost the weight she needed to lose. I am Karen Oliver and I am your host. I am a certified personal trainer, health and nutrition coach, as well as menopause coach. And if you like this type of content, subscribe and like, please. Okay, let me break this down. You have 3 systems that control how you feel. Your adrenals, your sex hormones, and your thyroid. Okay, if cortisol is off, which is the stress hormone, I'm sure you've heard of it. If it's off, either too high or too low, everything else is going to go off track. So cortisol is not the enemy. Cortisol is something good. Don't think that it is the enemy, but it has to be inside a specific window. It has a curve and it needs to be inside certain parameter. When it's under or over, you're going to feel terrible and all the other things are going to go off track. So if cortisol is high or low, you're not going to convert T4 into T3 properly, and that means you're not going to have good thyroid function. You're not going to clear estrogen well, so you're going to be estrogen dominant, and you're going to stop making enough progesterone. That's the picture. That's how you can be on thyroid meds and still feel exhausted. That's how you can be taking hormone supplements like them and still be gaining weight. and have all the symptoms of estrogen dominance. And that's how you may be eating clean and still feel like you're shutting down. Fixing all three at once overwhelms your system, which is what most people do. And you are probably doing, if you're watching this still, is because you feel all this. I am talking to you. So there's a sequence. And when you follow it, everything changes, but you can't fix everything at the same time. So what do? First, you need to know where you're at. You need to know if it's your hormones, you need to know if it's your thyroid, or if it's both, right? And I'm going to help you figure that out with a simple assessment that is going to take you like a minute to do. The link is here in the description. Go do it now. And it's going to help you see if it's thyroid, hormones, or both. And then based on that, we move to a step 2, which is test or rebuild your cortisol curve. So many people think they have the cortisol off. They go to the doctor and the doctor does a blood test and tells you your cortisol is okay. Well, that test that your doctor is doing is worthless. If you really want to know how your cortisol is, you need to do a saliva test and a 4-point saliva test so you know the whole curve of cortisol during the day, because your cortisol may be good in the morning. If you're only testing blood at 8 a.m., you're only seeing the value of cortisol at 8 a.m. What if your cortisol is fine at 8 a.m., but is super high during the night, and that's why you're waking up at 2 a.m.? Did your doctor test your cortisol at nighttime? No. So you need to do a cortisol test, ideally. Look at this image here. This is how a cortisol curve is. Now, if you cannot run a test, you can do an energy log and see how your cortisol, how your energy is during the day. And based on that, you can have an idea if your cortisol is off or not. How do you support your cortisol if you think that your cortisol is off? Well, getting natural light, natural sunlight first thing in the morning. In the first 30 minutes when you wake up, you go outside and you get natural sunlight, and this helps you regulate your circadian rhythm, and it's going to help you regulate your cortisol curve. If you cannot go outside, there are other options. You can buy a specific lamp that mimics the same effect and put it in your bathroom where you do your makeup, for example. Cutting caffeine, yes, especially not having caffeine fasted. So you need to eat first to then have caffeine. And going to bed at the same time every day. These are little things that you can do to support your cortisol, to bring it into the normal window. Step number 3, rebuild from the bottom up. So stop throwing more supplements at your thyroid and at your hormones, like iron, DIM, everything you can take. Stop. Start by rebuilding your resilience. Eat enough. I explained in the first video of this series how not eating enough damage thyroid, because it sends the enzymes that convert T4 into reverse T3, and that's what you don't want. You want T3, not reverse T3. So eat enough, and eat enough of the good type of food, not crap, right? Especially protein, slow-burning carbs. If you've been under eating, your thyroid and hormones they're not gonna cooperate. Okay, you can also watch my video about why not every calorie is the same and how this is important when you are a female 40 and over. The link is here in the description. Also, change the way you're training. You're probably doing super high intensity cardio. You need to change high intensity cardio for walks to help you relax, to help you put that cortisol in the right window. Reduce overstimulation. Anything that wires you up, you need to reduce that. Consider adaptogens like rhodiola or ashwagandha with guidance. Don't go like nuts, start taking supplements without any guidance. Step 4, support your estrogen and progesterone balance. So like I said at the beginning, estrogen and progesterone work as a couple, and the ratio between them is what matters the most. So once you have your cortisol steady, you fix your cortisol issues and you put it inside the window, now is that you work on your estrogen and progesterone balance. You support progesterone with magnesium, vitamins B, B6, and good fats. And then you clear estrogen with cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, with fiber, and possibly with DIM, but get some guidance if you're going to supplement with DIM. And then seeds. Seeds are good, and you can cycle seeds with your hormonal cycle to also help re-regulate the rhythm of your hormones. And then step number 5 is going to be to work on your thyroid, support your thyroid function. But you see how you do things like in a cascade. You cannot do everything at the same time. And the order that I'm telling you is important. Don't change the order. So first, stress cortisol, which is your adrenals. Second, your female hormones. And third, your thyroid. Now, you can look at thyroid markers like TSH, free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and of course, antibodies in case you have a hypothyroidism. You can use minerals like selenium, zinc, iron if needed. See? And thyroid-specific nutrition to optimize from there. But you already fix everything else first. And if you're going to get your thyroid tested, remember that TSH doesn't necessarily paint the whole picture, that you can have normal TSH values and still have a thyroid problem. And if you're curious about this, go watch the first video of this mini-series. And then last, step number 6, which is stop doing everything at once. Treating everything at the same time burns you out. Healing happens in order. And when you follow that order, then your body responds. Start with the quiz below to get some clarity on your root cause. And now you know how to support your stress, your hormone, and your thyroid in the right order. If this video helped, hit subscribe so more women like you can get clarity too. This 3-video series on thyroid and female hormones for women in perimenopause and menopause is your roadmap. Watch them in order and let's get you feeling well. I'll see you on the next one.